Good evening. I'm Dory Marlin.
And I'm Greg Floyd. Tonight's top story, sentencing for a man in his 20s and mourning for his friend killed in an accident.
Earlier this month, Brendan Hoffman found guilty in connection with the alcohol-related crash which took the life of his friend, Christopher Baker. But the one thing missing was Hoffman's ownership of his actions on that night in June of 2012.
Matt Markham in the courtroom for the emotional sentencing. He is live in our Capitol newsroom with more on our top story. Matt?
Greg and Dory, good evening. Prosecutors also revealed today that Hoffman had a history of driving infractions before the crash in Stephentown, which changed everything. Brendan Hoffman kept his head held down while shedding tears as the judge sentenced him to the maximum, 5 to 15 years in prison. The jury believed he was responsible for the crash which killed Christopher Baker. The 22-year-old spoke through his attorney.
Chris was a wonderful person, the best. He did not deserve to die this way. He was my best friend, and his death is something that I will live with for the rest of my life.
Baker's mother's hands shook as she spoke about all the things her son might want to do, like graduate RPI.
This unassuming young man had strong core values of family, friends, reciprocity, caring, and truth. All we have left to give Chris is to reassure and assure that truth exists.
Baker's father cannot escape the haunts of a father's worst nightmare.
We drive past the crash site where Chris died, lying next to the road like a rag doll, flung as that car overturned, alone.
Hoffman fled the scene and didn't tell anyone Baker was in the car until later. His lawyer at sentencing stood by his argument at trial.
I do not believe that Brendan was driving that night, and I don't believe that the proof established that. In fact, I thought, and I believe that, and I will believe that forever.
The judge reflected on the case. A jury spent 2 days considering. She said both Baker and Hoffman were remarkable people.
You likely would have continued to positively contribute had June 28, 2012 not happened.
But the prosecutor said a history of a previous DWI and driving with a suspended license could not be ignored.
This was not an accident where the defendant made a mistake once. This was a course of conduct.
As you heard there, the judge said that sentencing that the crowd in the courtroom was really a testament to the lives both of these two young people, Christopher Baker and Brendan Hoffman, lived, and that they would likely continue to lead positive lives until June 28, 2012. But also the father of Christopher Baker also said at sentencing that he's consistently haunted not just by the accident, but by the sounds of his daughter's cries and shrieks knowing that her brother had passed away. Dory?